everyone. How's it going? We're up to Arena Tournament 13 here. So all the other videos, I was always starting by saying we don't have that many players, and then as soon as I say that, we get like 10 more players. So I'm hoping the same thing happens here today. So I have a couple of pieces of news. First news is very personal. I got married last week, so that was exciting news for me and my new wife. And then professionally, I just accepted a job teaching a few hours a week a chess program in New York City, online, of course. So I think that could be good for a couple reasons. One, I'm hoping that we get a lot more players to the tournaments because I definitely want, I want over at least like 20, 25 players. The more, the better. Um, as you see, I have my wedding ring now. So that's kind of cool. A different feeling, but a good different. Um, so I'm hoping that we get more players to the tournament. I think the more people we get, I think it's just going to be better practice for everyone. So we'll see what happens. You never know what happens till it actually happens. But I'm supposed to start this Friday, and it's not going to change anything with any of my other classes. Just some new class I'm adding, which personally is really good for me because I was looking for opportunity to get some more classes to teach. I do have a few more hours available that I could be teaching chess. So this is really good for me professionally. Usually I just spend my time playing chess myself, which I'm of course going to keep doing. And I do also play poker and dabble in the stock market here and there. So I'll probably be doing a little less of that as I focus more on teaching, which is a good thing. So far, let's say we have 7 people. So let's go ahead and jump into some games here. I think Leland is going to be the odd person out since he's the lowest rated. I wanted to thank Leland for participating. I don't know why we have so few players here. That's kind of weird. So who should we look at? Let's start with Devin and Josiah here. So what's going on here? One thing that we talk about a lot in class is after we move the D4 pawn, I want everyone to move the C4 pawn. And we're still really struggling with this concept. So it looks like Devin played knight c3 here. Again, the reason why we want to move the pawn to c4 is we're trying to get as many attackers on the central squares as we can. And if we move the knight first, like happened in the game, notice that this pawn is stuck. Oh, b4 is just very bad move, right? So here, couple of things happened that I'm not too happy about already. I'm trying to be patient, though, and calm because I know that chess is a tough game. But I am seeing some things that I really don't like already. All this was pretty good. Again, instead of knight c3, I'd prefer c4 here. But one of the things that I really didn't like is this move b4 because it doesn't develop a piece and it doesn't prepare for castling. And one of the things that I'm still noticing about Josiah, I think Josiah has a lot of talent, maybe as much as anyone that I teach, to be honest. But I don't think he spends nearly enough time thinking about what his opponent is doing. He just makes his own moves sometimes without thinking about what the other side is doing. And in order to play chess well, you kind of got to play both sides of the chessboard. It's not just what am I doing, but also what's my opponent doing. So here, this just gives away a free pawn. And when I see Josiah playing knight c6, and it looks like 3.5 seconds over here, that's just way, that's just, we're not spending enough time. I know it's a quick time control, but I feel like Josiah had this move in mind before he even saw what his opponent did, and that's not how you play chess well. You always want to, we always want to ask ourselves, what's our opponent's threat? But also, did our opponent make a mistake? Because sometimes your opponent's going to make bad moves, and you have to capitalize on that. So yeah, knight c6 is not very good, and then bishop b5. Okay, so here he did see it. It did take a move longer than I would like to see. So here we have the pin piece, and not only is the knight pinned, but when we attack the knight with, for example, knight to e4, not only are we attacking the knight here, but we're also hitting the queen. And there's just no way for white to avoid losing material here because we have 2 attackers on this knight here. After knight e4, I'm saying this knight will be attacking our opponent's knight as well as the bishop. And again, not only is this knight's also attacking the queen, so there's no way to keep your queen safe and add another defender to this knight. So that means we're just going to win this knight for free. And most likely we're going to win a lot more material than that because after we play bishop takes knight, we're hitting the king and the rook. So we're just going to win a lot of material in this position. We want to look for opportunities to attack the pin pieces. And again, Josiah's finding the right ideas, but I feel like if he was taking it, like he's just playing too automatically. He doesn't even, I don't want this to sound like a criticism, just an observation. I feel like Josiah is not paying attention to what his opponent's doing enough, and that's causing him to move so quickly because he castled in 2.9 seconds. So he's following the opening principles, like get your piece developed, control the center, all that good stuff, get your king castled. Um, but while doing those things, which we want to see, generally speaking, he's missing some opportunities for some better moves. So another principle we have is, attack the pin piece. This knight on c3 is a pin piece, so just knight e4 attacking it would make a lot of sense to me. Castle, castle, knight e4. And then, yeah, here definitely he should play knight takes d2, Devin, because if he doesn't play knight takes d2, notice he's just going to lose this knight here. So he really has to take here in order to avoid losing a piece. Okay, there. And then also, I mean, either way is fine, but also taking with the pawn was worth considering. And I think this is going to be a good example, right? I talk a lot about the most common reason why we lose chess games is we just get down material and, our opponent has more pieces than us. So I think that's the case here. Like this pawn on g2 was protecting the knight on f3. And once we move it, we're just, usually we have to, our opponent is going to, make us, remove the defender or, not defend something. But here we're just doing that on our own. So that is problematic. Yeah, free pawn there looks good. Bishop f5, picking up a tempo on the rook. So nice job by Devin identifying the threat and playing rook b4. One thing I want to say about Devin is I'm really happy he's in this tournament because I feel like he is close to making some good progress, but it's just a question of putting yourself out there and not being afraid to lose. So who can we look at now? So where is Brian? Like, yeah, Brian wants to improve. He's gotta play in the tournaments. So let's look at Leland and Vincent here. So Leland's one of the new students. The reason I invite him to the tournament is I know this is gonna be a challenge for him because he hasn't learned some stuff that the other kids have learned, and he doesn't have the experience either. But I thought he's doing really, really well in the beginner class, and I think he's probably going to move up to intermediate in December. I fully want him to do that because I think he is picking up the concepts extremely quickly. But again, I think this tournament will be tough. So yeah, if you see this move h4, you can see like we haven't really gone over the opening principles in the beginning class. So if Leland does end up watching this, the three opening principles are we want to fight for the four central squares. We want to develop our pieces off the back rank. And whenever you hear the word develop, it's just a fancy way of saying move. So you want to move these pieces from where they start. And you want to get your king safe by castling. So you can already see here, like, so this is a good move. But if you just notice, this h4 move doesn't do very much, right? It just weakens the g4 square because now this pawn can't ever attack g4 anymore. And that's one of the reasons why you want to be aware that pawn moves are very committal. d5 I don't really like. g4. Yeah, you see we're just moving too many pawn moves here. And here we want to see development, right? So bishop takes here would have been good. Queen takes here would have been good. So yeah, but we definitely don't want to take with the pawn here because now we just get a weak pawn. And this is stuff that Leland's going to learn. He's a pretty sharp kid, I could tell already. So it's just a matter of putting the practice in. Yeah, if you notice, like every move's been a pawn move. So this is not what we want. We want to focus on getting our pieces off the back rank. So I am starting to. I just hope I didn't have Leland bite off more than he can chew this tournament. But I think he went in with reasonable expectations. Just have fun. And then how did Vincent lose his queen? Bishop can take. Yeah, we got to see this. So both sides missed that bishop can take. Definitely more forgiving of Leland because again he's pretty new to chess. But Vincent should see that the bishop can take the queen here. Yeah, I mean, simplifying the position is fine here, but it's really not necessary. And if we do want to simplify, like, why not take the rook? Because the rook is worth more points. So why take the bishop, which is worth 3 points, if we can take the rook, which is worth 5? And I'm not really even saying we should simplify in this way. When I talk about simplification, I'm talking about usually even trades. So like if you're up a piece and then you trade your queen for your opponent's queen, that's usually a good idea. Trading a queen for a bishop to simplify, like maybe in this position it does work just fine, but I'm not really a fan of this. I don't think we need to play like this cautiously. I mean, there's a lot of good squares we can move the queen to. I'm trying to think of the best square. I don't know. Like, there's so many good squares. I mean, we could even play something like even queen here is probably fine, giving a check because we don't have to worry about rook e3 since the pawn is protecting that square. So there's quite a few good squares like queen g4. I mean, I think any square where the queen is safe, to be honest, is probably perfectly fine. So yeah, queen g4 also looks kind of reasonable. Even queen c6. Although queen c6, I would be a bit worried about bishop b5 threats at some point. So like after knight c3, then we probably have to move the queen again. So yeah, what happened? So I did miss most of the game here. So let's go back to this point. Okay, knight c6. Yeah, this is a nice move by Leland. See how we're getting a piece developed and we're capturing something at the same time. So there's not many moves in chess that are usually better than that. So castle queen side. Vincent seems to like castle and queen side, which I think is cool. Nothing wrong with that. And we're already up to 10 players. Okay. Yeah, so here Leland just missed the threat. The threat is taking the bishop. So I'm assuming that's what Vincent did. Yeah, and this move I like a ton, right? Just simplifying. And not only do we simplify, but we also allow this rook to get over to the d file very quickly. So I think bishop takes a3 is a very nice move here. Another idea is probably like bishop to b4 also seems quite reasonable to me. But again, we're just up 2 pieces here. So trading a bishop for a knight makes a ton of sense to me. Yeah, very nice, very nice. And you can see, I can see that every time I see Vincent play chess now, I see the development. So I see that he moved the bishop so his rook could swing over. This kind of coordination of the pieces is something that takes a lot of practice and time to start thinking about. And the fact that Vincent is starting to grasp these concepts is, to me, a very, very encouraging sign. Yeah, knight there picking up a tempo. I also think rook here is probably rook here is the best move because the point being that after the king moves here, instead of just taking this rook right away, we have the deflection idea. We could play the other rook to d2 and give a check. And depending on what white does, if they decide to block, we could just take the rook with a check. And then after the king takes, then we can take the rook on a1. And I know it's hard to see with the arrows. I wish I could move the pieces more, but we're not in analysis mode, unfortunately. I'm surprised Max isn't here today. A little disappointed that Max isn't here. Very nice checkmate from Vincent. Very nice use of the 2 rooks. So that was good. Um, yeah, I'm really happy that Leland's here, but I just hope that I'm not gonna kill his spirit by kind of putting him in against too tough opposition. That's actually my concern now. I think against like I don't know. I don't want to single anyone out, but I just want to make sure that I don't like kill Leland's passion for chess in the first tournament. So I hope that he does get some opponents that he can give some good games to. And I think that the other kids should take advantage of these opportunities to play Leland now because I think he's going to be significantly better here in the near future. So what are we up to? Up to 10 kids. Let me see if I can minimize this. I feel like I'm a little too. Yeah, that's better. Oh, hold on a second. All right, so whose game are we looking at now? So we're looking at Kimmy and Devin. So we are so, okay. I want to mix it up, but I do. Let's see how Kimmy's doing. So very nice job from Kimmy to take there. Let's go back to the beginning. Okay. All right, so we had e4, e5. Is there an echo? Why is there echo? Hold on 1 second. What did I do? Oh, let's turn this off. Where did Benjamin go? Okay, so we have all right, so the echo should be gone now. So we had e4, e5, knight f3, d6, f6. So this is a very disappointing move to see from Devin. We've talked a lot about why this f6 move is no good. We want to focus on developing our pieces. So this is when I see Devin play in class, he almost never does anything remotely like this. So sometimes it feels like the kids when they play tournament, they think they're supposed to play completely differently than they play in class, and that's just not true. So yeah, f6 is a move I really don't like here for a couple of reasons. One, it weakens this diagonal to the black king, and this other diagonal is also weakened. Secondly, we can't put our knight on f6, which is by far the most natural developing square for the knight because it controls 2 central squares. So I really don't like this f6 move at all. So castle. So I really like Kimmy's play, right? Develop your pieces, control the center, get your king safe. So all this is good. No, 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 no. Yeah, this is just asking for trouble. As my mom would say when I was a kid, I was cruising for a bruising when I would do stuff like this. Yeah, so here we're just completely weakening this diagonal here. Yeah, so I really don't like the way Devin's playing this at all. Um, Funny enough, I don't actually see like a knockout blow here. Like I was looking at knight takes g5 here with the idea of queen h5, and then after king d7, I don't actually see a win here. So probably we should be a little bit more patient. Maybe something like d4 here makes sense, trying to open up the center. Black just created like so many weaknesses in their position that even if we can't find yeah, very nice move, very nice. So c5. So I see that Kimmy got afraid that the knight's under attack, which is understandable. But here I definitely think he should just go for queen h5 check right away. And I think this is, yeah, I think this is just crushing already. Because now black can't castle anymore. We have a lot of active pieces for white here. And yeah, this just looks bad. Like if the king goes to d7, like 96 looks very strong to me here. Probably there's some other moves which are also quite good, but yeah, this just looks terrible for black already. Okay, so I don't know if the last few moves went like exactly the way Kimmy would want because we did weaken our king side a bit, and now our queen is in this pin on this diagonal here on the b1 h7 diagonal. So I don't know if this is exactly what we should want as white here. Probably instead of queen d3, actually the better move might have been queen to d5. Looks very reasonable. Because this way we are attacking the b7 pawn and keeping alive hope of queen f7 someday. Although with this bishop on g6, it might be hard to accomplish that. What else could we try here? I mean, I think just knight c3 also looks quite reasonable. Just develop a piece. Like to be honest, I don't actually even think this pawn is under that black can take this pawn, because if it does, then we have the open e file, and a move like rook e1 is going to come very quickly, and I don't think that black can even save their bishop anyway. So yeah, so I don't think queen d3 was necessary here. Here maybe knight e5 looks good, like trying to trade off some pieces. Although I don't know, bishop b5 might be coming, and that could be a problem for black still. So h6, h6 I don't really get. I'd like to see knight c3 here from Kimmy. So the square that looks very weak to me is this d5 square, because they don't have any pawns. Black has no pawns that can attack the d5 square. So I think just knight d5 looks strong here. And I got a message from Benjamin. Let me accept that. Oh, is Benjamin not in the tournament? Hold on 1 second. Sorry about that. Who's the player? So I thought Benjamin was in. So yeah, it doesn't. So who's not playing this week that played last week? So it looks like Alex is okay. So it looks like Max is in here, so that's one person. George is going to get here a little bit later, I believe. I think we had Crystal, Elizabeth join later. I think they're all in dance class. So is there anyone that we're missing that played last week that's not playing this week? And then yeah, just let me try to help Benjamin. Okay, let's do some analysis and try to help. I think he's in now. All right, so we have 11 people. All right, so what happened here? So we had knight d2. So I really like the way Kimmy's playing. Although, I don't really get this maneuver of knight to b3, to be honest. Okay. But I can see that like Kimmy's identifying all the threats, so all this is very encouraging. And then very nice job, very good alertness from Kimmy. As soon as this rook left the defense of the knight, Kimmy took the knight immediately. So yeah, we're seeing a lot of good things from Kimmy here. A lot of good things. Queen there. Here we just have a nice pin along the d file. So we have either knight takes c5 or bishop takes. Probably I think knight takes is better, because after knight takes c5, we're also threatening knight e6, working the king and the queen. So knight takes c5 looks like the better move here to me. But queen c4 also seems reasonable, right? Like maybe queen e6 is coming. I don't really know what Kimmy's idea here is. I should probably figure that out. Yeah, I don't actually know what he's trying to do here, Kimmy. So okay, take. And again, we're just Ooh, that's a nice tactic. Wow. So the point being that if queen takes, we have bishop takes c5, paying the queen to the rook. And I don't know if Kimmy saw this, but let's just give him the benefit of the doubt and say he did. So this is a very, and why is Devin? I don't know if Devin saw that as well. Um, yeah, I think we need a lot more practice. It looks like we're just yeah, we're hanging our pieces too much. And this is a beautiful game by Kimmy here. Also, rook f7 just winning the queen, but it looks like queen e6. We have a forced mate coming, so we have rook f8 next move. So no, 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 no. So everything was going really well from Kimmy. I did see something I didn't like just now, though. So I really didn't like this move. So Kimmy's idea was he wants to simplify the trade by he wants to trade queens to simplify since it's up material. The problem though is the knight could just take, and on top of that, like I know that when you're up pieces, when you're up material, you want to look for opportunity to trade pieces, but you also want to look for checkmates and stuff. Like we just have rook f8 here with a checkmate. So like when you have these two active pieces right around your opponent's king, the last thing you want to think about is defense here. You want to think about offense. And even if you don't find this rook f8 checkmate move, which I think is a reasonable move to find, we also have rook d1, just putting the rook on the open file. So yeah, I hope I'm not teaching the kids to be too cautious. I want them to be aggressive when they have the initiative, and the initiative just means when we're the side attacking. So yeah, I do want us to play a bit more aggressively here. And what happened to? Oh, okay. So who should we look at now? Let's look at Brian and Alex. They usually play some exciting games, and I'm not ignoring Nathan, I promise. But I do want to look at some everyone's games. So we have the Scandinavian, and yeah, I'm curious what happens. Alex is such a good attacking player. Very nice development from Brian. Brian's also a good attacking player. The difference between Brian and Alex, I would say, is Alex is just more. Alex is crazy with his attacks, not as a human being, but as an attacking chess player. He definitely is about as aggressive as you can be. D5, yeah, I like all this. Yeah, perfect. This is good stuff. This is good stuff here. So how do we continue this? I'm not sure. What should we play here? This is interesting. I really want to play knight e5 with the idea of bishop f4, but I don't know if this works. So if it doesn't work, then it's obviously not good. So what else could we play? Bishop g5 feels reasonable. Knight d4. Knight d4 I also think is very, very reasonable. So, okay, good. So very nice job spotting the threat. And then here, bishop f4, e5 is the problem. So here I think we had e5, and I believe that just wins a piece. So I think that, okay, so when the pawn was on c6, notice it controls these two squares. So when the pawn moves to c5, I think we just have knight b5 here. It seems very good to me. Also, actually, now that I think about the position more, I also like this move knight d5 a bunch. So knight d5 hitting the queen, hitting the e7 pawn with a check. So I think that knight d5 is probably the best move here. So here, okay. Yeah, here I like knight d5 still. Okay, bishop e3 I like as well. Knight, this is getting pretty wild. Pretty wild. Knight d5, very nice. And then we could take the c5. Yeah, very nice job. I would be a little concerned about knight takes b7 here. So what happens after knight takes not b2? Knight takes b2. What do we play here? Are we just losing a pawn? Yeah, this is crazy position. So now they're forking the queen and the bishop here. So what should we play here? I want to make queen f3 work. Queen f3 feels like something. Also knight e7. Knight e7 check looks interesting. I'm wondering about knight d6 also. Yeah, this is an interesting. Okay, queen there. Okay, take. Okay, h3 there. Yeah, and Alex never misses a counter-attacking idea. Although here I think that knight here should be very strong. Yeah, so knight here is pretty strong because we pick up a tempo on the rook, and also we defend this other knight at the same time. And if they trade queens, then we have a double attack, right? Because our knight's attacking on a8 and this knight's under attack. So I think this would have been very interesting. Oh, that move I don't get. No, 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 no. This is the knight that's under attack. So this is the one we should be moving, not this other one. Because the problem is after this pawn takes, notice the knight's protected. So this is the knight we should be moving, not this other knight. So yeah, that is just gonna drop a. So okay, so I guess maybe Brian was looking at this pin on the b file. The problem is the rook can take. That's the problem. Okay, take there. So what's going on? So Alex is up one pawn. Okay, good. That's a very nice move. So we have a check here. And then what can we play here? Because normally this is very dangerous. I feel like queen b3 might be the right move. Although, what else could we try here? I'm trying to find the best move here. A3. A3 I don't understand. Okay, so Alex is going to try to checkmate on this g2 square. So I think, yeah, that looked like a kind of a strange decision. So I think we should play queen b6 here. Queen b2, f3. Yeah, I'm not sure why Alex didn't just take the free pawn. Queen c5. Yeah, this I don't get. Man, he's such a good attacking player, though, Alex. I have to give him a lot of kudos. His attacking play is very strong. Okay, so now I assume he's going to take here. And this rook is just really annoying controlling the b4 square because we'd really like to play queen b4 attacking the pin piece here. But unfortunately, it's just not safe. So Alex should. This has been a well played game though. So I have to. Both sides have played very well here. For some reason, Alex has a blind spot over this f3 pawn though. I think he just grabbed this guy. I don't see any. No, that move I don't get at all. Yeah, that move I didn't understand. Yeah, I don't understand that move. So what should we play here? Yeah, rook there I like. So just, yeah, I don't get what Alex is doing here exactly. So I think just king g2 is fine. I don't see any. Yeah, like if black tries to win this pawn, I'd be no. I wouldn't put my king on the half open h file. Yeah, king g2 was necessary here. This was a big. Yeah, this was a bit of a miss here from Brian. He's really close to just completely swindling Alex here. Probably if he plays king g2, it's really hard for Alex to figure out how to get out of this. Because rook d8 was coming. So here we have to play king h2 again. I think if we play king g1, we just lose the g3 pawn with check. Yeah, so that's yeah. We also lose the rook. Okay, so anyway, this is no good. We had to play king g2 here. I think this was definitely the only move for white. It's hard though. Brian was in some time pressure. But yeah, king g2, and then like this rook move is coming quick, and there's really nothing that black can do. Like if they play queen takes, we're happy with that. We just take. Notice the bishop can't take because it's pinned, so this rook would have to take, and then we play rook here. But I thought this was a good game. Yeah, I thought both sides played pretty well here. So who haven't we looked at? Let's look at Steven. We haven't looked at Steven or Nathan. I think we're at the end of the game. Yeah, Nathan is just. I think he just has the intimidation factor now, and on top of that, he's playing good moves also. I never seen Nathan play Sicilian. Now he's learning the dragon. I mean, just every tournament he's coming with new weapons. We have this. I have to be honest. We haven't discussed this in class. Here, I think the bishop usually goes to this b3 square and just keeps contact with the f7 pawn. Just remember, this is the weakest pawn for black. Only the king's protecting it. And even if black does castle, we do have a pin on this pawn, which in Sicilian Dragon is very relevant a lot of the times. I'm not sure about this queen takes c6 move. I feel like taking with a pawn might be slightly more accurate because then we get a half open b file, and we also get more control of the d5 square. So I'm not sure. I don't know if queen takes is the best move. The problem with queen takes is we sometimes run into some like knight d5 and knight takes e7 threats. Like probably not right now because we have this knight. But we do have the opportunity maybe of playing like bishop takes knight and then knight d5. And it can be like a little inconvenient for black. So I think for that reason, taking with the pawn is probably more accurate. I like Steven's position though. He's very solid position here. Okay. Okay, this I like a lot. So here I just take this bishop like almost every time. I wouldn't even really think about it that much. Because if we take, we're just really messing up the black pawn structure. We're going to get a very weak d pawn. You could argue that this knight is such a strong piece on d5 that it's not worth giving up for the bishop, but I think just taking the bishop here makes all the sense in the world. because like yeah, I'm just repeating myself now, but the pawn structure just gets very weak. Like one idea I'm already seeing is take, pawn takes, and then queen f4 looks very good to me. So queen f4 hitting the pawn. Probably black will go king g7 here, and I feel like we're on the verge of a strong attack coming. Like probably just rook a d1, put some pressure on this guy, and now Nathan's gonna have a somewhat a very weak pawn he has to defend. Queen e3. I don't really get queen e3. Yeah, notice the bishop dropped back to g7, so I think Nathan, yeah, this worked out very well for Nathan here. So 'cause at some point he's probably going to play e6 and push this strong knight out of the way, and now it's not such a great piece for white anymore. Yeah, and very nice job from Nathan just chopping the piece off. Like knight c7 was a threat. If you do want to keep the bishop pair, maybe like rook here is fine, and then play e6. But I really like Nathan's decision here. The only drawback is we do give up the bishop pair, but bishop takes d5 should be quite fine here. e6. Um, e6 okay. The move that I'm interested in is f5 was kind of interesting, but okay, e6 as well. Um, what else? I don't know. For some reason, I'm not persuaded by e6, although I think it's fine. Um, yeah, maybe we shouldn't take because now our bishop is getting kind of weak. Um, and the problem is we can't really play bishop d3, keeping the d file under control, and also the e2 square because black just has c4. So I think we have to play. We could protect, of course, with like rook here, but if we want to move the bishop, we probably should play bishop f3. Although rook here might be the better. Actually, I don't know. Rook here, then we run into this pin. So I guess we have to play bishop f3 here. Bishop b7 doesn't look like it does very much to me. Okay. I don't really see what Nathan's threat is here. I guess he's trying to play bishop d4. Yeah, I guess that is a pretty strong threat. I'm wondering if we have time for bishop takes here, and then if bishop d4, we just play bishop takes here. And if Nathan wants to take with the rook, I think we're happy to simplify here because these two rooks are just very strong pieces. So any opportunity to simplify might make sense. Also, bishop g4 does look appealing as well. Bishop back. Yeah, so very nice dancing maneuvering here. I don't like this move, so I guess Steven is worried about this pin here and wants to play f3. But when he moves the king, he's losing defense of this square. So how could we have dealt with this? I don't know exactly. It's not. It's really not the easiest thing in the world to answer. I guess we just go back to this variation that we were talking about before. Probably here, and I assume Nathan's going to play rook here. Maybe rook f4 even is interesting because this way when the bishop takes the pawn, we're not hitting the rook. So that's also an idea. But I do feel like Nathan is, Steven is fighting back okay here. So I'm curious where the position went wrong. It does look like this c pawn is going to be pretty strong, but we do have a passed a pawn that might also be a little annoying. Um, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Like maybe rook f3 here is interesting. It's hard to say exactly, but um, I think we should start pushing our a pawn here. So bishop c6. Okay, that also looks reasonable. Rook f. Okay, good. Okay, take. Ah, that is a problem. Okay, we put our rook in the way of this diagonal, so that is an issue. So how do we deal with that? I don't think we have a good answer to that. Yeah, I was looking at like rook takes f7, but that just runs into rook h2 check, so that doesn't do anything for us. What can we play here? We could, yeah, we don't even have rook b8 here because then the bishop is covering that square, so we don't have that option either. Yeah, this is just looking bad, huh? Okay, rook there, check. Take that. Wait a minute, do we have bishop? Do we have bishop g2 here? No, we don't because rook h, bishop h2 check, and then we lose our rook. Man, okay, so all the ideas just don't quite work here for Steven. I guess it makes sense. It looks like Nathan's pieces are a bit more active, but so yeah, this has been a well played game. So what happened here? So yeah, I think yeah here we have. So if we play bishop takes, then we're gonna lose our rook. So what is the idea here? I guess the problem is bishop f2 check, and then we do win a rook for free. So bishop f2 is a pretty strong move here. All right, and I think Steven picked a fair time to resign. So this was a nice game from both sides. Nice to see Nathan branching out into some other openings, so that is good to see. Yeah, again, I think just knight takes f6. So I think this was this is a pretty crucial point in the game. I think if Steven just takes on f6 here, we could be looking at a different result in this game. So yeah, who should we look at next? So how many people? We still at 11 people. Okay, so is Jonathan? Okay, Jonathan played a couple games. Leland's still fighting, which is good to see. Josiah's having a great tournament. So who haven't we really looked at? We haven't looked at. I want to look at Benjamin, but I don't want to just look at Nathan's game. So I guess we could look at Alex and Steven. Is Brian still here? So hopefully Brian will get a game. Let's look at Vincent. Let's look at Vincent and Kimmy here. So we haven't. The Scandinavian seems to be popular today. Okay, that was a mistake from Kimmy. All right, let's move on. So let's look at another game. How's Vincent doing? I know Vincent's been 3 out of 6, very respectable score. So who could we look at here? All right, let's look at Alex and Steven's game here. So the dragon's getting popular. No, we covered this in class, Steven. We covered this in class. This exact thing happened, and I said, don't play bishop e6, play e6, pawn to e6. Yeah, I remember very vividly we talked about this exact position, and it's hard to remember everything. I know there's a lot to remember in chess, but we definitely said this is no good, right? Because here we just have 2 attackers, and then we only have 1 defender. So we're just losing. Not only are we losing a pawn, but if we allow white to get their knight to e6, I mean, this is just such an incredible knight. So definitely e6. Another move that we discussed in class, I don't know if you guys remember this one either, but we also looked at knight e5 here. So knight e5 hits the bishop on c4, and it also protects the f7 pawn. So that's a move to consider. We don't have to worry about bishop b5 check very much because after bishop d7, everything is perfectly fine for black there. So we should be either playing e6, and actually knight e5 is probably a even slightly better move, I think. Yeah, and I mean, this is just so good for white here. I think in class we looked at knight d5 here. So the idea of knight d5 is that if the queen takes the knight, we have knight c7 check, forking the king and the queen. And if black plays knight takes d5 here, we just take back with the pawn, protecting our knight. And this knight on e6 is, again, if we get a knight on e6 with a pawn protecting it, it's just such a monstrous piece. I mean, it's like it stops black from basically doing anything. I like the way Alex played this too. He played it a bit more simple, but also very reasonable. I don't know. I feel like Steven can fight back. I mean, I definitely don't like his position, but I don't feel like he's okay. That move I don't get at all. Why would you play rook g8? I'll have to ask Steven about this move in class. I don't even get the idea or the purpose. Yeah, I haven't. Like, we want our rooks on half open files, or preferably open files, of course. But why would we put our rook on a closed file? I don't get this move. What? I mean, it's not like white's threatening the rook. I guess he wants to play g5. I don't know. I'm really struggling to even understand the idea behind rook g8. Okay, so he did want to play g5. All right, so Steven's just saying, what the heck, let's go for an attack. All right, I have to give rook g8 a bit more kudos than I did before. So at least he's playing with a plan. I don't really, as long as we're not hanging our pieces, I'm really very open-minded to any plans you guys have. The more chess you play, the better your plans will get. But the important thing is actually just playing with a plan. The fact that if you're thinking ahead at all is a very good sign. And I guess Alice is copying, so he wants to play b4. I feel like Steven's attack should be coming much quicker though now. Much quicker. Yeah, I feel like this should be very good. So all I'd be thinking about here is how do we get this queen to h4? If we get this queen to h4, I think this is going to be a lot of problems for white here. Um, Unfortunately, we don't have a. Actually, h6 does the same thing. So I'd be thinking maybe queen here actually, and then queen here. I don't even care if we lose the a7 pawn. Like if I play king b8, my king should be pretty safe. Um, so I assume after queen here, maybe we have. Yeah, the good thing for black is f3 never really works because we always have knight here, and this is just terrible for white. So yeah, I think queen e6 here with the idea of queen h6 is very, very strong here. So okay, king b8. So Stephen was worried about his a7 pawn, understandably. Queen d2. So this is a nice move from Alex trying to stop the queen from moving here. So I think we have a lot of time here. Actually, this other plan of queen e8 and queen h5 is jumping out to me now. So this is another idea that looks very strong. Yeah, I just want to get my queen on the h file, right? If we can get the queen to h2, it's going to be a checkmate. So that's what I'm hoping to have happen, of course. No, no, no. We should be. Yeah, here we're just dropping the pawn here. Yeah, this move I don't get at all. We have a very aggressive setup for black here. We should be going after the king. So yeah, again, all I'm thinking about is how do we get our queen to the h file. And I'm never worried about f3 because this knight move again is very strong. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, Alex really hates retreating pieces, but I think this is too much. Oh my gosh, he made this work, Alex, didn't he? I think this guy's like an attacking savant. I mean, just the attacks he comes up with is pretty spectacular. Okay, queen h5 here. Okay, now how is Alex getting out of this? I think he should be lost now. Okay, so we have, yeah, this has to be losing. Just have to figure out the right way to do this. I'm even wondering if queen h4 here is better than queen h2 because I feel like we want to take the f2 pawn actually. And if the rook comes to e2, then we have queen h2 and then queen h1 mates. So I'm really wondering if queen h4 is the best move. No, 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 no. Why isn't he not just taking? I don't understand. I don't understand this move. Queen takes here. Oh, my apologies. My apologies, Stephen. Yes, this is a very nice sacrifice. Okay, I missed this idea completely. Very nicely done. So king e2 is forced. That just drops the knight though, right? Queen takes. Yeah, I think the attack's slipping away from Stephen here. Yeah, it's not going to be... I don't think this attack is going to be quick enough. Here I like e6. I think e6 is good. So what went wrong here? What went wrong here? So now, yeah, now thinking about this idea, I'm wondering if knight e5 was a very strong idea because then we can play here. But I feel like we missed. I feel like we're allowing the white king to escape, and this is kind of the concept of forming a mating net. So we don't want to let our opponent's king escape. Yeah, I don't know how Alex does it, man. This guy is slippery. So, man, that's to me that's a sign of a lot of chess talent when he's getting out of these bad positions. It's not easy to do this. And I don't feel like Steven, made any like obvious mistakes. So the position shouldn't have slipped. I feel like this position though was a very critical position in the game. I'm still thinking Queen H4 might have been the best move. I don't know. I know they have 10 minutes, and you can see like I'm taking time to analyze this position, so it clearly isn't easy. But I'm also wondering now if Knight E5, with the idea of Queen to F3, was a reasonable idea. So it's Queen F3 is going to force G3, and then I'm just wondering if we have time to play Rook here, here, and here, and give a checkmate. But I don't know. Probably if I was playing this position, I think I would have gone for Queen H4 here. Queen H4. And if they play G3, then we have Queen H2 check and Queen takes F2 mate. Yeah, I really want to take this F pawn because if we take the F pawn, we're removing one of the important defenders for the king. And I think this would have actually because we're up a piece here too. So we're up a piece and they want attacking. I think this is a game that we should convert here. What else do we have here? I don't know. I feel like I might be missing a clear win here, so I'm trying to figure out where exactly is the. There's so many interesting lines here. I don't know. I keep coming back to this Queen H4 idea. I'll have to analyze this in class with Steven and Alex and see what they thought about this position. But yeah, I feel like Queen H4 is probably the best move for Black here. Because I think if they play F3, we have Queen here, and then if King here, we have Rook to G6, threatening a checkmate here. And I think that's yeah, I think that's incredibly strong. I don't think that White is going to survive this. All right, so anyway, let's go to some other games. Kind of disappointed we only have 11 players. I know George said he was going to be here, so I guess they're probably still in dance class. Yeah, it definitely feels like the students that are winning are the ones that are returning. So that's kind of one of the things I was worried about. All right, let's look at one of Josiah's games. We haven't looked at much of Josiah's games today. So we have Josiah versus Brian. K5. So yeah, here the queens come off the board. So I wonder. I don't know. I'm not that familiar with this. This is a pretty unorthodox position here. I'm not sure if I really love this. I don't know. I guess here probably if either we take here or maybe we even go like knight g6 here. It's a bit unorthodox, but I think that might be the plan here. I'm not 100% sure. This is a pretty unorthodox position here. What else can we try here? Yeah, I don't know if I really love giving away the right to castle here. All right, so yeah, here I think we're just dropping a piece because we have the open d file and the rook and the king are on the same file. So I think that's just bishop e3, or even if you want to be fancy. Oh, actually no. If you be fancy, if you try a fancy idea of bishop e1, you're not gonna. That's not actually gonna work out very well for you. So bishop e3 is bishop h6 taking the g7 pawn, attacking this guy is also very interesting. I think bishop e3 is the simplest, but yeah, I give Josiah an A for creativity here. Yeah, definitely an A for creativity. Although I'm liking Brian's coming up with some nice counterattacking ideas here. Yeah, very nice. Try to remove the defender and capture this pawn. So does Josiah play his rook here? What did he play? There. Okay, that's also interesting. And one thing I can tell, like the kids are playing better, is I'm finding it harder to guess their moves. So I'm finding that they're starting to come up with some interesting and original ideas, which is really good to see. I think here Josiah probably should just grab the pawn while he can. I'm not sure why not. Yeah, I feel like Brian's fighting back quite well here. That move I don't get. Like, why just give up this pawn? Oh, okay, he's hitting the rook, but yeah, I don't know about that one because we are allowing this check, and then I guess the king could drop back to e6, but I don't really like this. I think we should just I think we maybe just play rook here and then see if we can play f5. I assume Josiah might play g4 to stop that plan though, so that might be an issue. I'm not sure. Maybe we go active. Maybe like rook here is interesting. King c2 is probably coming. Rook g7 is possible. It's interesting. Maybe rook g7, and then we have the idea of e4, and then we play the pawn to f6, and maybe this is pretty solid. And then we could try to swing the rook over to the b7 square at some point. Yeah, so here we're just dropping a pawn. So I like that Brian's trying to get active, but he's just giving away, he's giving away a lot of pawns here. Here I think we have maybe king here would do something. Also, king here seems interesting, and if we think about what happened in the game, and if Josiah gives a check here, we can play bishop here. If he takes the pawn, we still have bishop d4, and although bishop d4 just run into rook here. This is pretty tricky position. Yeah, so nice job here creating this pin here, Josiah. He has two attackers. I guess we could play rook e2 here, but yeah, I think that these two pass pawns are just way too strong here. So let's look at Nathan versus Vincent. Yeah, and see, Nathan is moving the c pawn. That's what we want. So we move the pawn in front of the queen. We want to move our c pawn as well to put maximum pressure on the d5 square. And here I think knight f6 is a mistake because, yeah, after the pawn takes, if the knight takes back, we can play e4. But it looks like Nathan maybe blundered here. Okay, never mind. I thought he played. Okay, never mind. I thought he played e4 here. That's my fault. He didn't blunder here. So yeah, knight c3 picking up a tempo on the queen is very logical. Bishop d2, knight c6. All right. So what we have to worry about is this discovered attack. Ah, what happened here? I thought. So he played e4 here, Nathan. That's an interesting move. I guess he didn't see any good discovery. I think that knight. So it looks like he was contemplating either knight b5 or knight d5. Neither of these squares are safe right now. The queen could just take. So I guess that's why I played e4 here. Yeah, but after, so this is interesting. Okay, so take knight there. I thought he wanted to play knight d5 here, Nathan. I thought that was his plan. Because then we are picking up the discover check. I guess. Oh, knight e2, that's interesting. Knight e2, queen c5. Here I definitely like rook c1. That makes seems more logical to me. Just picking up the tempo on the queen here, and then forcing the queen to this square. And then after we play, I don't know. It depends what Nathan plays here. But if we play knight takes, we maybe could play rook takes c7. It might be interesting. I don't know. This kind of a unique position. C2. Yeah, so here definitely take with the queen, right? This just trades off the queens, and we get a nice knight on e4. And I think that black is actually just two pawns to the good here, and that would be very good for black, of course. Not only the two pawns for the good, but they're not really behind in development at all. Maybe you could argue that it's going to be a little bit easier for white to develop this bishop than black to develop their bishop. So maybe we have a little bit of an advantage in time here for white, but very very minimal. It's definitely not worth two pawns, I would say. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really liking Vincent's position so far. I think we're just up a solid two pawns here. So what went wrong? Okay, that seems fine. Yeah, I think what happened is we're grabbing. We should be focusing on development here a little bit more. So, okay. So first off, if we want to trade queens here and just say we're up a pawn and the pawn's going to be good, we always have queen d6 here with a double attack on the white queen and the white king, and that's going to force the trade of queens. So that's one idea. Another idea I was considering is I was really looking at bishop to g4 check. I don't know what Nathan would play here, but if he goes for something like f3, it doesn't actually pick up a tempo, I don't think, because we have rook to c8 attacking the queen, and we could always drop the bishop back to like an f5 square if we need to. And this looks quite good for black to me. Taking the pawn, yeah, and then Nathan found a very nice back rank checkmate here. I don't really understand why we're moving the same piece twice in the opening though. Like we have to develop our dark square bishop and get castled. Um, so for that reason, there's a couple of reasons why 97 is not good. One, we're moving the same piece again, and then secondly, as Nathan just showed you guys, that runs into a back rank checkmate because now there's nowhere for our opponent's king to move forward, and anytime our opponent's king can't move forward, we want to look for back rank checkmates. So yeah, so here I just really like e6 with the idea of bishop to a3 and try to castle as quickly as possible because if the queen takes here, that's not a big deal at all. So yeah, I think we could live with that. I am a little worried about rook b1 though with bishop b5 threats. That is something. Okay, well rook b1. Okay, we can't play that. We're just going to lose the rook. So I don't know what I'm talking about there. So yeah, I think just e6 should be playable here. E6 and then probably bishop a3, something like that. Maybe even just bishop e7 and get castle as quickly as you can. Something like that makes a ton of sense to me. Yeah, but I thought, yeah, that was kind of a tough one for Vincent there. I thought he did some good things. Did we lose Brian for the tournament? I feel like Brian's starting to get a little discouraged. So yeah, that's not. He's playing good, Brian. I know it's just these minimal things. So what's going on? So Leland's still playing. So are we down to only? We only have 4 people playing. Is that what's going on? Oh yeah, okay. We have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, hopefully we get some new faces into the tournament. Not that the current faces aren't awesome, wonderful faces, but we could use some more people in the tournaments. So I feel like it was like I can tell the kids who play are obviously enjoying it, but I feel like if we keep getting the same kids over and over, the kids will eventually get bored, maybe of just playing the same people. And the point of the tournament is to try to grow the classes and grow the kids' learning experience and having fun. So I definitely don't want to, yeah, I definitely don't want the tournaments to, become boring to the kids. So let's go over this. So I'm liking. So what's going on here? So here, typically, we don't really want to take here because we don't want to help our opponent develop their queen. So just because we can capture a piece doesn't mean that we need to. And this is kind of a hard one to explain because actually this knight on d4 is better than the knight on c6. Like the knight on d4 is just slightly better placed. So that's normally when you do want to make a trade for even pieces. The problem with this one though is when we trade the knights, we're helping our queen, our opponent's queen, get to a very active square where they hit our bishop and they hit our g7 pawn. So I believe in this position we would just be fine with just playing like knight f6 here. I think is probably fine. Yeah, I think knight f6 is a perfectly fine move for black here. So I think that's probably all theory. d5. So d5 is a move that I like that Vincent's going for here because he's trying to open up the position. The thing that I don't like though in this exact position is that white has the 2 bishops and black only has 1 bishop. So typically when your opponent has a 2 bishop advantage, you don't want to open up the position for them. So I think this move d5 might be problematic. Also, I'm just realizing now that we're also hanging the g7 pawn. So I think we have a couple reasons why this this d5 move doesn't quite work here. I'm not sure. I want to play queen f6 here, but I'm not sure we can give away the c7 pawn. My worry is that after knight f6, which seems like the most natural move, is that like something like bishop g5 or e5 are going to be strong. So I'm not sure. Like I'd say that white definitely has an advantage here already. I'm not sure exactly. Yeah, how do we deal with this queen takes g7 threat? It is very annoying. Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess we just have to go for knight f6 and then just end up with double pawns if and hope that we can hold this position. So yeah, so queen a5, right? We're allowing our opponent to develop a piece and pick up a tempo. So probably queen a5 for that reason might not be the best move. I kind of like this queen d7 here, right? Forming a battery with your queen and your bishop, your light square bishop, and preparing castling. And then we'd also have a battery with our queen and our rook on the d file. And if you don't know what a battery is, it's just when you can use 2 of your own pieces together. So it's like I think it comes from like the term battering ramp or something like that, where you can like use multiple force to break through an object, something like that. So I think that's kind of where the word battery comes from. Yeah, notice that Benjamin's doing an excellent job just developing his piece and picking up a tempo. So I really like the last few moves from Benjamin here. This has all been quite good. Here I just would have liked to see castle. I don't. Yeah, bishop c3. Yeah, I think that Benjamin probably should have just castled here. There's no real threats I can see about this g2 pawn. So yeah, I think that would have been a good option. And then when you castle, notice when you castle, so that's what happened in the game. Notice that these rooks protect each other. So we call this that your rooks are connected. And when your rooks are connected, that's a good thing because, yeah, that means that your development is complete when your rooks protect one another. So bishop takes c4. So here I'm looking for deflection ideas like something like h3, but I'm not sure. I'm a little worried that black can just play rook takes bishop here. So what do we do here exactly? So it looks like we have bishop takes and then bishop takes g7 though. So let's see if Benjamin found this idea. So yeah, here Benjamin just has bishop takes g7, trapping this rook here. But there, okay. What do we do about that? I think we just bring the queen back to g4 and guard our g7 pawn again. Yeah, I have to say I'm seeing a ton of improvement in Vincent's play and all the kids, but I mean Benjamin's it's just good to have Benjamin here in general. Just the more kids we can get, the better. Um, who are we losing though? I feel like we're down a lot of kids from the last tournament. I guess this a7 pawn is hanging too, so queen takes a7. Queen e6. Okay, queen e6 is interesting. Yeah, the problem is like if we just trade queens here and then take here, we're at least getting our pawn back and then the exchange. Also just taking here right away is fine. So we have to move the knight. I think knight e7 is probably good. Knight here is fine. Okay. So yeah, now we definitely should go knight e7 though. Yeah, we got to get our pieces developed. This rook is trapped, so we have to at least defend our rook. Yeah, very good. Yeah. And the cool thing about seeing the kids improvement, I'm starting to get like a lot more confidence that they're going to find the right moves in these positions, which is also a pretty good feeling. So it's good to be like more confident that they're going to play good moves, and that's a nice move from Benjamin there. So I think knight d5 is probably coming. So knight here, just attacking the pawn. Probably Benjamin can ignore that though and just play rook here. And the idea is if you do take the pawn, we just play rook here. And now we have a battery with the two rooks on the 7th rank, and this is going to be very strong. But yeah, like I said, I mean they're finding the good moves here on both sides. And probably a few months ago, I wouldn't have I wouldn't have thought that they'd be able to find all these moves so easily. So now I like knight c3 just because it's a tricky move. So my point being that I'm attacking the pawn, and if Benjamin plays rook c1, which is a very natural move to play, then we have this nice knight e2 forking the king and the rook here. So I think knight c3 is a pretty tricky idea here. I guess after knight c3, white could just move the pawn to e5, but yeah, I think it's a tricky move. My hunch, I think Benjamin's going to play rook e1 here, but I don't know. He might actually play e5 here. I'm not sure. He could even consider a move like rook e7, although I don't think that wouldn't be the best move. I don't think. Notice that rook f4 runs into the same fork of knight e2 check, attacking the rook and the king. Rook f4 is something that could happen. Ooh, it did happen. I wasn't expecting rook f4. So let's see if it's no. He moves so fast too. 4 seconds, 5 seconds. He's got more time on the clock. He had this knight e2, attacking the king, attacking the rook. The whole evaluation would change. You go from winning to losing in one move, or the other way, losing to winning. Because now he's definitely going to play rook e1 here, Benjamin, because that's the only move to defend the pawn. And now we don't have this cool knight e2 trick anymore. What? What was that? Yeah, that move I don't get. I guess he wanted to play rook e1, but he was worried about losing this pawn. I don't. No. Now we run into the pin. The pin is mightier than the sword. Now we run to the pin. I guess we could play knight d6 and pretend like we're holding on, but yeah, this isn't going to be very good. We also could play knight f6 because if the white rook takes our knight, we have rook takes rook on e1. Man, I was hoping to have George here. I was told that George was going to be here. Probably the kids are having a very fun dance class. Oh my goodness. He's too fast for me, Nathan. He just wants to embarrass me. He's just too fast. I can't play fast enough to win. It feels like I should play faster, but I can't. Let's go for this. Let's go for this. So I'm playing the Budapest just because it's fun. He's just too fast. See how fast he is? It's not fair. I want to be young again. Can I be young again? Can I be young again? Yeah. Should have taken this pawn. Yikes, 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 yikes. Yikes. He shouldn't have taken there. He had a better move. No, I hung my rook. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh, that's bad. Ah, I'm too slow. Too slow. Too old. I'm too old. Too old. Ah, move. Should be a win here. Too slow. Ah, I got a pin there. Kidding me? Wow, too slow. Too slow. All right, let's go. Let's see. Gotta get a rematch here. I'm going so slow. He doesn't even care if he blunders anything. He's just too fast. He's just too fast. Not falling for the back rank mate. He's getting too good. Can't even get him on the back rank mate anymore. I moved there. Let's go here. Should probably push the C pawn now. Too fast, man. Too fast. Too fast. That was a mistake. I should have taken that. Come on. So bad. Oh no. No. Are you kidding me? Yikes. 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 You gotta be kidding me. Oh, finally. That wasn't even pretty. Can we get a best of 10 here? Move. Nope, nope, nope. Should have played here. Starting to warm up a little bit. He didn't want to embarrass his teacher anymore, Nathan. All right, so what's going on here? All right, so back to the tournament. Sorry, that was a little self-indulgent there. Oh, he's not even winning the tournament, Josiah. Okay, or he's not even winning the tournament, Nathan. All right, it's probably a good idea he get back to the tournament then. So who should we look at? Let's look at Leland. I feel bad for Leland. I probably I'm glad he's playing. I probably put him. Um, I probably put him in a situation that I shouldn't have though. So yeah, I think the problem with Steven's position here, right, is he has the knight in front of this pawn here. So again, like it's really important that we can get this pawn to c5 and put some pressure on the d4 square. Probably what we should do here is we should probably castle and then play knight a5 to attack, pick up this tempo on the bishop. I think that just drops the pawn, right? So that doesn't look so good. Queen there. Queen there I don't really care for because now we allow knight d6, exactly. So now the bishop can't take the pawn here, and also we pick up a tempo on this bishop. I think that just hangs a piece. No, 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 no. Hangs a piece there. That's the problem with bullet chess. Playing that 1-minute chess, you can develop some bad habits. So, um, if there's anything about Nathan's chess I'd be worried about, I would be worried he's playing too much bullet chess because, um, yeah, you just get an instinct of playing way too quickly. There's a lot of stuff that Nathan still has to learn, and I think he's going to learn it, much better if he takes his time in playing some longer time control games here and there. I don't want to say he shouldn't play bullet at all because I know he enjoys it, and that's if you take away like what a kid enjoys the most about chess or anything, it's not really fair to them. But so that's why like I know a lot of teachers will say like don't ever play bullet; it's just really bad for your chess. But I'm not going to say that because I don't want to. I don't want to take that away from Nathan if he enjoys it. But I do say I hope he can also play some longer games like some 5-minute and 10-minute. And ideally, you want to play like some 30-minute games. So that just that just hangs the queen there. So yeah, Steven did miss an opportunity to just capture this bishop for free. So after bishop b5, it just hangs this piece, and there's no counter attack there. So who else should we look at? Let's look at. Oh, George is here. Okay, good, good. Let's look at Vincent and George. So Vincent and George always seem to play very good games. Is he gonna go for f4? Wow. Not sure what like because this isn't something we talked about in class. So I'm always curious. Like, is Vincent studying on his own, or is this an idea that just came to him? Because this is a very good setup to delay developing your knight to f3 and push your f pawn first. Like everything that Vincent's done here has been very very good. So this is definitely encouraging. I don't know about that move so much. I would have preferred to see knight f3 first and then get castled. Or knight f3 does have a threat of attacking the e5 pawn twice. So depending on what George did here, like if George plays d6 protecting the e5 pawn, then I'd prefer castling. If George doesn't defend the pawn and Vincent can just take the pawn for free, then of course take the pawn for free. But I would have liked to have seen this first. Okay, a6, bishop c5. Here I think just bishop takes knight. Even though I say a lot like don't just give away your bishop for a knight for no reason, I think here there is a clear reason. One, your opponent did spend a move picking up the tempo on your bishop. So after bishop takes knight, pawn takes, you have knight takes bishop here, and then you get these really ugly triple pawns for white here. Additionally, we also get this pawn as well. So yeah, I think this would have been a very good option for George here. So here we just have knight takes bishop. Because here we have one attacker and one defender. But we could have just taken the bishop for free, which I think would have been quite strong. Because the problem with this is that after the queen takes, it's also guarding the bishop. And it's not clear how we... yeah, I think we're just down a piece here now. Knight g4. Yeah, nice job from Vincent just simplifying. So notice he's up a piece, so he's just simplifying the position. Bishop a6, stopping white from castling is interesting. It looks like Vincent will probably castle queenside though. So I think bishop g5 might be fine here. Maybe even bishop d2 is probably fine. Yeah, bishop g5, nice move. Knight e5. Knight e5 I don't love because after knight takes, queen takes, we do have f6. I guess Vincent, I don't know if he saw this, but Well, let's give him the let's say he did see it. I guess he does have queen d5 check at the end of that variation, so maybe this is actually quite fine. Rook there. Bishop there. Yeah, bishop there I don't like. Why walk into a pin for no reason? Because now your bishop's going to be pinned forever. Like, the rook's not threatening to take the pawn once the queen moves because you still have the knight defending it. So just put your queen somewhere safe. I think queen g3 is fine. Just anywhere where it's safe. No reason to walk into this pin here. This move I don't like either because now we have queen here check, and now there's no more pin on the bishop. So I think that was unnecessary. Okay, very nice from George. I don't think g6 was necessary because, again, white did have this queen d5 check move. Probably we should just take the bishop here. Actually, definitely, I think we should just take the bishop while we can. So what's going on here? So George is up a pawn now. But Vincent looks like he has a little bit of an attack coming. So no, why are we trading here? Yeah, I think here we definitely, yeah, we had just queen to d7 check attacking the king and the rook, and I believe that just picks up the rook for free here. So I think that George had to play king f7 in this position, and the point being that after queen d7 check now, we can just play rook e7 to block. So I think that might have been the better decision. But it's good to see, yeah, George and Vincent always seem to play very good games. So I think they're pretty evenly matched. That move I don't really get from George. Like, just, we have a queen. We got to be pretty aggressive here. I think queen takes pawn is definitely the best move because we defend our pawn on g6 at the same time. And yeah, so I don't really get this move. Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. And for some reason George just keeps moving his queen around, which he doesn't need to do. Yeah, he hung his queen here, Vincent, and yeah, both players missed it. Both players missed it. Yeah, for some reason George started moving his king around a lot here. I don't think he needed to do that. Like, your queen's your best attacking piece, and the funny thing is both sides have a queen, but only a queen. So white's never going to checkmate black with just this queen, and same thing for black. Black is never going to checkmate the white king with just their queen attacking. You have to at least get another piece to support your queen, and that's just not going to happen, right? Neither of these kings are just going to march up the chessboard as long as your opponent has a queen on the board. So basically, it's just kind of a who can collect the most pawns here, and then after that, how can we turn those pawns into queens? Which isn't easy. Queen and pawn endgames are very, very difficult. I think there's a Russian saying there's 4 parts of a chess game. The first part is the opening, middle game, and end game. And then they said queen and pawn end games were like got their own like classification. All right, so nice game from George and Vincent here. What's going on in the tournament? So it looks like we have we got to cover Josiah and Nathan here because it looks like they're playing for first place here. So it looks like we need to play rook b1. Yeah, looks okay. So we missed the whole game basically. You guys are playing fast. So one thing we have to be careful. This isn't a bad move or anything, but we do have to be careful of this queen a5 check hitting the king and the bishop. It's extremely important that white does have knight c3 here to block the check and protect the bishop at the same time. And yeah, I am itching to play Nathan in some bullet chess, so we'll see if he'll accept my challenge after the tournament, or if he has other. I think he has violin actually after this, so he might not be able to accept my my challenge here. Yeah, you can already see like the quality of play of some of the players. I mean, this is looking like very, very good opening stuff from both sides here. So it's really very encouraging. Yeah, here it's really important that black is defending this bishop here, because if they weren't, we'd have ideas like knight takes g6 here. taking our opponent's bishop and guarding our own bishop. But since Nathan does have the bishop protected, that's actually going to be a bad move for white because it just opens up the H file. Yeah, F5. So F5 is definitely a move that I was trying to play as well for white. I just don't think it quite works here. And here we actually have a very nice move for white though. Bishop D6, just attacking both of the rooks. And there we just have a nice double attack, and we're going to pick up some material. And yeah, black would have to be concerned about this bishop the whole game. So I think here that Nathan has to take with the knight. We can't allow this bishop D6 move. I think that's too much to allow here, I believe. How did Josiah fight back so well in this game? So Nathan just hung his knight for no reason? Okay, that was weird. I don't really understand this move at all. Must be some kind of... Yeah, I have no idea why knight d1 was played. That's kind of a strange move. And then he hung his rook too, Nathan? Okay, so this was a sequence of a couple of bad moves from Nathan here. Yeah, I wonder here as white if we should play rook b1 to get behind the passed pawn. So I think rook b1 with the idea of b5 is probably quite strong. So is Nathan just goofing off? Like why did he not take the pawn? Is he trying to make the game harder on himself? Okay, so puffy foot went offline. Okay. So who else's game should we look at? So we could let's look at Steven and Josiah here. What? What? Steven, what happened here? No. Oh, Steven's gonna be he'll be upset about that one. Yeah, here I think just bishop h4 is fine. I mean, we can take here just as long as we put our knight on f3 next turn. All right, he wants to play again. All right, let's go. Okay, let's go. Guess we're playing the same opening. That's the thing about chess players. We can be very stubborn. How much to play here? I want to take this guy. Also, to take the knight. That was dumb. That's just a free pawn. Ugh, missing a lot. This isn't good for me because I'm so much slower than Nathan. So this is not good. I'm so much slower than Nathan. Oh no! No! Frustrating. Frustrating. Jeez, I was crushing that one too. That's a bummer. That's a bummer. Yeah, I'm too slow. Too slow. Huh, you didn't want that one? That's weird. Yeah, this is bad. Too slow. It's so frustrating. Oh. Too slow. Too slow. I had a good position there too. I guess it's a play queen here first. What should the play here? This is the play take. What should the play here? Take, 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 take. That was too slow. Too slow. Didn't like that move very much. Didn't like that move at all. All right, sorry that the video got a little hijacked between Nathan and I playing bullet chess here. I did want to thank everyone for playing in the tournament. Yeah, I wanted to thank everyone for playing in the tournament. Yeah, I thought everyone played pretty well. A little disappointed that the turnout we couldn't get back to the 14 players that we usually get. Um, but yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Oh, Nathan, did the games weren't even rated? He didn't want to play rated games. All right, no problem. Anyway, I thought the players are improving a lot. The games are getting better. What else did I want to add? I want to thank Leland. I feel a little bad. I think I put Leland in kind of a tough spot. He's been doing really well in the beginner class. I thought, okay, let's see if he wants to play in the tournament. So hopefully he had fun, even though I knew the competition would be tough for him. I didn't know if it would. Yeah, I think probably I should have held off maybe a couple more tournaments before I think he has some stuff to learn, but hopefully he had fun either way. Um, yeah, I think that's it. Hopefully we'll get a couple of players back. I think we didn't have like Charles. We didn't have we didn't have Ray this tournament. So we're definitely missing some strong players. We didn't have Max, of course, this tournament as well. So hopefully next tournament we can get a little bit better turnout. But yeah, I want to thank everyone who was able to play, and yeah, good tournament, everyone. Sorry if the games between Nathan and I kind of got in the way of some of the other games. I already told Nathan I think he's probably going to be a better bullet player than me pretty soon. He might already be a better bullet player than me. Um, so yeah, it's good. It's good to see the kids improving. I hope that all the students someday surpass the teacher. I think that would be a very very good thing and something I'd be really proud about. So anyway, thank you guys. Hope you enjoy your weekend and thanks again for playing. All right, bye.